Hey guys, welcome to Brew Espresso Coffee. Today we're gonna look at the optimal brewing time for cold brew. There are still a lot of people who ask, what is the best extraction time for immersion cold brew? Most baristas and coffee experts recommend from 10 to 12 hours, but is this really the best steeping time? A very long time ago when cold brew was first invented, the recommended time for steeping was 48 hours and up to 72 hours. And to this day, there are people who wonder, why not 72 hours? There is a popular belief that cold brew doesn't over-extract. The thinking is the bad tasting compounds only get extracted at higher temperatures, so if the coffee gets too bitter, then you can just dilute it, right? This is the subject of our video today. We tested different steeping times for cold brew and we found the perfect range in terms of how many hours you need to brew it for. To be honest, our team at brewespresso.com hadn't made immersion cold brew coffee in a long time, so this was a little bit new for us as well. We had been using the vacuum methods for our cold brew lately, and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to prepare it that way, and there is a very low chance to over extract it that way. So this was actually very interesting for us as well. In order to remove all the variables, we conceived a test that addresses that as well. Let's explain the test. We prepared 7 batches. We steeped them for 12, 18, 24, 48, and 72 hours. Once the batch was ready, we removed the spent coffee grounds from it, and then we continued storing it in the fridge until the rest of the batches were ready. Once the batches were ready, we measured the TDS of each batch. We then diluted the batches with water and we brought them to the same concentration. After that, I tasted them and evaluated their taste. So keep watching to see my process and also what my thoughts were about each batch. Hey guys, I'm back. So I removed all of the spent coffee grounds from the jars according to the labels on the jars. And when they were ready, I stored them in the fridge until the last batch was ready. And now that all the batches are ready, I'm ready to taste them. So I'm gonna measure the TDS of all of the batches and then I'm gonna normalize them to the same strength so that we can compare apples to apples. TDS means total dissolved solids, and it's just a way to measure how much solute is in a solution. How concentrated the coffee is, in other words. Now I'm gonna taste them as they are without diluting them. The taste is not gonna be very good since it's gonna be way too concentrated, but it's a way to show you how important concentration and dilution are. Okay, so it's time to taste them. I'm gonna give you my thoughts about each batch. So this one's very flavorful. I actually like it. This one's flavorful as well. It does have a different taste than this one. So for this one, it seems a little bit more fruity, and in comparison, this one seems a little bit more bland. It has a more intriguing taste. This one's the most acidic out of the three. It's flavorful as well. I would say I like this one the most, then this one, and then this one has the softest taste for some reason. This one has the strongest taste out of all of them. It lacks complexity in comparison to the previous three. This one's definitely more acidic than the rest of the batches I've tasted so far, and it definitely needs to be diluted. I'm not a fan of how it tastes right now, but it's a good reference point. So this one actually seems to be the most bitter. This one is very strong, very bitter, and I can detect some acidity. And I'm surprised that it tastes very different from the 36 hours because they were both brewed for a really long time. So the one that I like the most is the first one actually. But let's dilute everything to the same concentration and then see what they taste like. So the next step is to measure the TDS and then add water to dilute them and bring them to the same concentration. So now I'm going to measure the TDS. jars to a TDS of 2, which is slightly higher than the recommended TDS for hot brew, but for a cold brew is very good. So let's taste them. So I thought after diluting all of the batches, perhaps my mind is gonna change about which one I prefer, but I'm still aiming for this one. And even when I compare all of them, I definitely like the ones that are steeped for less time. These two, even these three, but particularly the last two, have this really strong bitter and tannic taste that I'm not a huge fan of. Whereas these ones have more interesting, almost floral tastes, more complex flavors. So based on the experiment, it looks like steeping for less time is definitely better than steeping for more time, because when you steep for too long, you get these unwanted flavors, and the coffee is just not as good. This falls in line with the latest research about cold brew, and if you'd like to learn more, then take a look at the link I posted below. It's a link with more information about cold brew. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or if you want to share your thoughts about the video, please comment below. If you have any questions about cold brew, we're here to help you. And if you are a huge fan of coffee, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Bye!